What is going on, guys? It is your boy JayDubbs here with the Zero Dive In, and we are back here with another review. Actually, the first free review code for the channel. Yay! So this developer reached out, asked us to review his game. He gave us a free review code, and we were just like, sure, let's check it out. And so that brings me to what we're talking about today, and it is Retroninjacyberassassin. And disclaimer, this game can be played at full screen. I was playing this game at full screen. When I was recording, it did not record at full screen. It is a retro FPS, and with the rise of them coming back, it is not in short supply to dive back into what some would be considered, or what some would consider, the golden and most influential age of gaming, and setting the stage for what gaming will become today, honestly. So, into the splash of Retroninjacyberassassin. And yes, if you're wondering, that is all one word, and it's actually a very funny, unique touch if you ask me. And with the title alone, you can tell that this is going to be an over-the-top, fun game that just doesn't take itself too seriously, and that just is about pure, unadulterated fun. You know how games used to be before the politics and the push for greed over fun and creativity and risk-taking. Kind of like you see today. Retroninjacyberassassin just might be the fresh air that we're looking for, or that we'd like to see, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. And so I also want to say shout out to the developer. Thank you so much for the review code. I really appreciate it. It's the unrated version that we're going to be reviewing today. So, from Proteus to Project Downfall, the retro pixel art style has grown and advanced so much, and it's been able to tell so many different stories, so many different unique stories. And here's a game that's going to take us back to a simpler time with Retroninjacyberassassin. Seriously, try saying that 5 times fast. It's a challenge. So jump around into the game, right? I love the eerie music. You jump in, it's like an eerie, creepy music. It's very reminiscent of like older FPSs, and you kind of just get a good nostalgic feel right away. Right? And you jump in, you start the game, and I like the fast-paced action that it comes with. It definitely is reminiscent of Doom, like especially being on Intech 1, and the fast-paced action of the game is very, very nice. You got punching and throwing ninja animations that are really smooth, which I definitely appreciate. I think it's really cool. And the offensive actions give you a power fantasy with super quick punches, kicks, combined with like a high frame rate, and you can put the I think you can put the always run option on. I felt like the always run option was on for me, and it was really nice. And I want to tackle gameplay a little bit later, but right now I want to touch on the graphics. So I love the pixel art, and this game has like a unique aesthetic of like stick ninja men, with the henchmen that are not the stick ninja men being the everyday security guy look. And I think that's really cool. And honestly, it's really, they don't sound like everyday security men, but I'll get to that in audio. And right now I want to talk about, like, this is just a ballsy, simplistic choice in a world of more innovative retro games such as Proteus rising in popularity. It's really nice. Simple art style really works for the overtop, silly, pure fun vibe that this game is really going for. And it's not a bad choice, especially with the blood and gore involved. It's really good for, especially for those gamers like me that like violence. When it comes to the music and the audio, the music is really interesting. You definitely hear the 90s influence with the spin. I find it very delightful. So when I was talking about the enemies say like, security. It's so like demonic. And it's really intimidating when it shows up, because like there's like 100 or 150 in the space at a time. Not even just in a room, just in that space that you're going through. Like there could be like anywhere to like 100, 150 NPCs. It's like it's crazy. You know, and it's hilarious. It's a nice touch, and I feel like this intimidating security vibe is what most security officers wish they had when they're trying to apprehend somebody, you know. The death whisper sounds of enemies also sounds demonic, and it's really good, and it really kind of coincides with their kind of like airy vibe that's going on. I love it. So when I come to the gameplay, I love the fast-paced action. You can pick up limbs after killing people and throw it and kill people with it, or just batter them and kill people with it. I love the dismember system that's in here. It's really nice, you know, and it's really cool for what it was developed on. You know, that's nice. And it's funny because if you can like bat people with dismembered limbs, or you could throw it. So like if you throw it, it actually acts as if a BFG, so it like kills like waves of people at a time, which I thought was really cool. Ninja stars replace guns, which is a nice change of pace. The bloody mess that you can create with enemy limbs, ninja stars, and fists is just really, really cool. Really impressed with the dismemberment. Also, a little tad bit, I do enjoy the fact that you can find a bow and arrow and a secret early on in the game, and it's pretty fun if you can get the aim down, you know. So I've highlighted what I liked about the game. I want to talk about some things that I want to see improved with the game. Not necessarily negatives, but I just want to see this improved in the game if it was going to move forward with a sequel, or if they were going to like stick with this IP pretty much. So I know this is an early project, and I know there's some things that you wouldn't expect to be there, but I'm just saying for like future projects, like if you wanted to stick with this. So for one, honestly, I did touch on, you know, hack and slash away against mindless NPCs with super quick moves was really fun, but there is honestly no rhyme or reason to the NPCs. It's like they just shoved a bunch of mindless NPCs that just rush you brain deadly, straight line, and there's like no strategy. And I could compare this to Doom 94, and like enemies were like carefully placed on high-rise platforms, around corners, creating tense situations for the player, making them strategize their paths, their resource management, while still being action-packed. And it also leads me to talking about the other thing that I had a gripe with, which was just the like open, you know, bland level design, you know, for strategic enemy placement, for game design in general. It was just kind of open, and just kind of, it wasn't really that memorable to me. And more enemy variety would also help shake up things to not make them seem mindless. And I just felt like there was no creativity on how they were placed. Well, and it's like, while combat is fun, you know, NPCs just aren't. You know, the combat is great, but the combat loop isn't wide enough to not make it feel so repetitive. And the only time you do pick up is when you see the Stickman Cyber Ninja that shows up, which is important because he has what you need to get to the next level. He has like an eyeball, or like, and the eyeball kind of acts as the key in order to be able to get through the door to the next level, you know. But it also the fact that he can one-shot you. So that's also important because you see them like erratically moving through the crowd of hundreds of security NPCs. And you're just like, oh, there he is, and it's just like, yeah, you're gonna have to keep up for that. But like, also, if you kind of see them coming, then they just become like another NPC. So that, I guess that's kind of good when they're sparse. But speaking of which, I need you to please nerf the one-hit ninja. For how fast they are and how much damage they do when they do hit. They are just not especially fun to fight. Especially when you put 50 of them in a room with no lights. That's actually a level. And you'll see what I'm talking about when you actually play the game. And you know what? I actually have some gameplay of the level that I'm talking about where I'm just like dying a series of times because it's so hard to see these ninjas. You can't see the projectiles, so dodging them is a fluke. And eventually I learned how to get past it, which I'm not going to spoil because I want you to, for people that play the game, I want you to play it and find out for yourself. But I mean, eventually I do get past it, but it's just like, come on, this is ridiculous. Like, in the beginning of the game, they were kind of thrown into the crowd. They were like a needle in a haystack. You kind of had to find where they were and trying to pick them out from the crowd. And it was like, it was annoying, but it was a cool concept. You know, they were spaced out. But then you get to around like map 5 or 6, and then it's just like 50 of them in a room, and it's dark. And they give you like some peace. They give you like a lot of health to try and like make up for it, but like it's also surrounded by a bunch of ninja. And when you play the game and you see how erratic they move around and see how unjustly like how fast they are, and it's like you can't even keep up with them on screen sometimes, especially when they're dark in a room and their projectiles are invisible. It just becomes kind of annoying. You know, they practically teleport around the room. You can't really see their projectiles, so it's pretty much guesswork trying to dodge them. And then they get katanas at some point, and then they get really... I'm like, alright, so not only do they one-shot you, but then, like, you give them katanas, like me, and then they become even more annoying and difficult to fight. It's like you just shove a bunch of them in the room, and that's the difficulty. You know, so that brings me to saying that there are way too many NPCs. You know, there's literally like 150 to 100 NPCs around not even just in the whole map, just around every corner. Like there is I would say 50 to 60 NPCs. Maybe 100 is exaggerating, but sometimes there are like big arena areas where there's just a bunch of NPCs and there's like just no rhyme or reason to them. It's like somebody made a mod and just said, yo, just plop all these NPCs right here and see what happens. Because it's like there was a point where I just wasn't having fun killing them anymore. Like it wasn't like scale, it was just like, yo, let me just like lead them this way so I could just kill all of them and try and get them all out at one time. You know, it was just a way to get to the next level, you know. And when it comes to, you know, enemy layout, a little bit can go a long way. Like I said, like sometimes like especially with Doom 1, like it wasn't like there weren't just a bunch of NPCs there. They were like placed in certain strategic areas. You know, so it was a little bit more tense. Another thing, I would like to see more smooth animation with the katana. It can be very jarring because you can press slash with the katana and you charge across the room, and it can just be hard to control where you're going, what enemies you're killing, and then it's also vulnerable to attack. So, and also weirdly enough, like the audio kind of cuts out when you use the katana and you slash it. I don't know if that was a patch that has been fixed or not. I'm just putting it out there from what I played. But I mean, honestly, this game sets out what it wants to do. It is over the top, it is fun, it shows it in every aspect: the visuals, the gore, the dismemberment, you know, the audio from the enemies, the Fast and the Furious attacks that you have. It's on the right path, but I would definitely like to see more innovation from this developer, especially if this is going to be a series that you wanted to build on. Like, for example, like being able to run up walls, being able to throw projectiles off of walls, that would be cool. This game is fun. Maybe you just come home after a bad day, you just want to just, you know, let your frustrations out and escape for a little bit, for a couple hours. I think this could actually end up having a following if you just keep working with it, keep evolving it, keep evolving the character and the story and the gameplay mechanics. I think this could definitely go somewhere. You know, it could definitely be something that could get a definitely following. I would definitely say it's for some people. It's not going to connect with everybody, but it's definitely going to be for some people, and for a lot of people, me included, that's good enough. You know, so this has been JayDubbs here with our first review code for Digital Dive-In. Shout out to the developer for giving us this code. Thank you. I appreciate you. I hope that you enjoyed the review of the game, and hopefully I said some things that could help, you know, move you forward, and if not, I understand that as well. So thank you guys. Thank you for listening. As always, peace out. Keep chasing your dreams, y'all.